going on, everybody? It's Geoff Grammer with the Albuquerque Journal, and this is Albuquerque Journal Sports Live. I am joined, as always, by Sean Reider, I guess is how we would say that. And we just got done with this week's coaches press conference with Jason Eck, UNM Lobo football coach Jason Eck, talking about this week's game against the New Mexico State Aggies. 2-1, first 2-1.
First time teams have had a winning record since 1992, something like that. Entering this game. Excuse me.
They've had winning records.
If UNM wins this game, they'll be 3-1 for the first time since 2007. If NMSU wins this game, they'll be 3-1 for the first time since 1999. So obviously, always a lot at stake in this game, but certainly just a little bit more than normal, though, given team's performances to this point. What are you doing over there?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Should have checked the haircut. I've got a little curl thing going here.
Got a little.
So I did get a haircut this morning, and was running the kids around, and did not. I hate to admit this, but I did not have time to go from haircut to take a shower like normally after a haircut. So we're dealing with what I got. Anyway,
I know most people are tuning in this show because of how good we look.
I guess on that front, I have started an OnlyFans since I started singing the "I'm Too Sexy" song. A lot of people liked hearing that, and that is another show for another time, though. That is not this. This is talking sports, right? We're talking about this weekend's football game, which a lot of people are excited about for the first time in a long time. I do think people get excited about this game because it is a state rivalry. Yeah. Two teams that don't like each other, two fan bases that most of them get along just fine. But when this game happens, they don't like each other. It's a good rivalry. That's what a rivalry is. And for the first time since 1992, as stated, these two teams both have winning records, and it isn't just against FCS teams. It is against a horrible UCLA team and an FCS team for UNM and a good showing against Michigan. But for the Aggies, we're talking, an FCS win that was actually ugly.
An FCS win that was ugly. An FBS win that is looking a lot better, even though that Oklahoma State team is just dreadful.
Oklahoma State's pretty bad, but probably not as bad as UCLA.
Mike Gundy, salute. We'll see you soon, man.
Fired today. So here's something interesting. The UNM Lobos go to the Rose Bowl, go to UCLA and beat UCLA, and within 2 days, their coach is fired. Tulsa, the team that New Mexico State beat, ends up beating Oklahoma State on Saturday, and by Monday or by Tuesday, their coach is fired. So New Mexico and New Mexico State are in the center of the college football world right now. They're injecting themselves into it. It is big time football. I might be pushing it a little bit, but for this week, this is big time football. We got the countdown going on. We are in the Todium Center, by the way, at UNM, where they do the weekly coaches press conference, and they've got the countdown. We're at 4 days?
4 days, 14 minutes, and 52 seconds until the cherry out.
The cherry out. So I want to start there. We are for 2 weeks now, really since the UCLA game, we've been starting to kind of hint at putting an over-under for the attendance at 30,000 fans. I have been saying a week ago on this show from this very seat, I said, I'm going to go under, but I kept narrowing it down to like between 28,000 and 30,000. And then I got down to like 28.5. So I had it within a 1,500 fan kind of number there. A couple updates. One is this. The student section for UNM has sold out officially today. If you are a student and want to come to this game, I bet you could probably still get your student ticket, frankly, but you can't sit in the student section. The student section is now full. They will be doing some busing in, some park and ride services for people who had some issues with the parking last time, but also because they're expecting a big crowd. Obviously, New Mexico State's going to be bringing a lot of fans for this game. And I will tell you that I have changed my mind. For those that follow me on social media saw that I officially admitted I was wrong. I am going, not only am I
You admitted you were wrong.
Not only am I going over 30,000. Not only am I going over 30,000, I think they will comfortably get over 30,000. They're calling 37.4 something a sellout here. I don't know what the official number is, but I think it's 37.4. I know they've had crowds in the past with 44,000, I think is the record here, but that was before some renovations.
37,440 is considered a sellout.
37,440 is considered a sellout, and I know there are some rumblings and some crossed fingers that they'll get there that are a little more realistic right now than they were a week ago. all that said, they're not at 25 yet, I don't think.
No, they're not. They have 20,000 tickets sold. Ryan Berryman just tweeted out a couple stats right now.
Okay. What are the stats at Ryan Berryman?
Ticket sales are trending, and credit to Dante Mileta for these stats, as Berryman notes in his tweet. Ticket sales are trending 7 to 8K higher at this time than the last Albuquerque edition of the Rio Grande Rivalry. That was 2023. That was 27 something.
Okay.
Back then. So they have hit 20,000 tickets sold. And they want to beat the 2023 game, which was 27,414. And they would also like to beat the 2017 game versus NMSU, which was 32,427. So those are the numbers right now.
I think they got a shot to get to 32.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll get a sellout, but I think they might get up to 32.
Would you say there is an outside possibility they get to a sellout?
Yeah. I would say there's an outside possibility. I would have said there's no possibility before, but hearing things like that and talking to somebody last night, I got the impression that their sales are doing a little better than they have in the past. So also the New Mexico State UNM game is a lot of people talk about in the land of mañana that people wait till the last minute to get their tickets. That doesn't always happen. It's a little bit overblown based on ticket sales for UNM, except when it comes to this game. Yep. The NMSU UNM game does sort of start building up buzz later in the week because I think people working downtown Albuquerque right now, every office has an Aggie fan, every office has probably multiple Lobo fans or graduates, and they start talking a little trash throughout the week, and by the end of the week, they're like, I will go. I'm going to make sure I sit right by you, and we're going to talk trash, and you're going to owe me that beer or whatever. So there you go. Sean, press conference highlights. What happened today that you think is worth mentioning?
You broke some news in the middle of the press conference. We get Jason Knapp talking about the rivalry and kind of the idea of he has not been a part of this rivalry. He has played New Mexico State once in the past. I do want to cover this. This is something that you brought to my attention a couple weeks back, and you asked the question about today. In 2005, Jason Knapp was the offensive line coach for an Idaho team that finished 2-9 under head coach Nick Holt. They went down to Las Cruces, and they played a New Mexico State team that ended up finishing 0-12, and they ended up winning. Idaho ended up winning in double overtime, 38-37. I will post the video of his answer. I'll post a video of his answer after. The one troubling thing is that I have not been able to find or locate a video of what you told me was what happened. Yep. That Idaho coach Nick Holt, it was a game-winning field goal, right?
I can't remember what the game-winning play was, but it was a game winner. It was a
game-winner walk-off in double overtime, and Idaho coach Nick Holt, I believe, there was a dog pile on the field, ran out on the field and jumped onto the dog pile at Aggie Memorial Stadium. Yep. You told me about it. If anybody listening to this has video of this, I just want to see this. I just want video evidence this happened. Not to say I don't believe you. X said he did not jump into the dog pile, but he said he remembered it and kind of ran through some of the highlights of that game with us. Now to get back on actual track, what we were actually talking about. What was that tweet? Never mind. The student section is officially sold out, as you touched on. You're just looking at pictures of Idaho football from 2005.
Well, this is the game. The game.
Oh, that's the game?
Yeah, I don't see a video attached to it.
Spokesman review story.
Yeah, this was actually an Associated Press photo. This was from our Sun News. I believe Norm Detliff took that picture from the Sun News. But anyway, I don't see the video here, but we're going to find that video. But regardless.
Yeah, Eck called that an amazing game between two really bad football teams, which certainly got a chuckle out of all of us. But no, we were talking about the idea that, this staff has not been around the rivalry, right? And it's a unique rivalry. It's an in-state rivalry. It's a lot of passion and all that. It is not a rivalry that has a lot of national renown. I would say, personally, to me, it's underrated nationally. And Eck said, he has been a part of heated in-state rivalries. He did point to the Montana State rivalry, which is very intense. As probably being the best in-state rivalry he has been a part of previously, and kind of drew on his experience there as an assistant at Montana State. He said he does. I asked him. There's been coaches in the past here, Danny Gonzalez in particular, who really leaned into the rivalry. And that made sense because Danny was an alum. He played here. He's from Albuquerque.
We don't like those guys this week.
Exactly. That made a lot of sense. And then last year, Bronco Mendenhall, who said, the rivalry is important and we understand why it's important. But
we love those guys.
He did not say they love them. But
we love everyone.
He had been around the rivalry, but he said just kind of the way they coach. Like, to us, it's an important game because it's the next game. It's the next opportunity we can do this. I think you have something pulled up. Would you like to?
Just a quote
to interject.
Quote from that 2005 game. So I was covering that team for the Sun News in Las Cruces, that 0-12 New Mexico State team, and Nick
Hal Mummy coach,
the Hal Mummy coach team, and Jason Eck was on the Idaho coaching staff. I just wanted to say this real quick. Nick Holt, at the end of overtime, decided not to go for two, and told his team right before the second overtime, when they won 38-37 was the final score, and they did go for two and won. And he said in the team huddle in the timeout, he said, quote, "I said, meet me in the end zone. We'll have a big dog pile." And sure enough, they score their 2-point conversion. The team goes over there and starts celebrating and has a dog pile. And sure enough, Nick Holt ran over there, head coach of an FBS team before it was FBS, runs down the field.
Before it was FCS.
Well, it wasn't called FBS in 2005.
Oh, Division One, though. Oh, yeah. You're right.
That was back when it was still just Division One.
My bad.
But anyway, FBS team head coach runs out onto the field at the end of a game and dog piles with his team, and that was win number 2 for Idaho, and pretty much the only, if I recall correctly, the only game in the final minutes that New Mexico State had a chance to win all season. They had a couple games that looked like within a score or two that maybe were closer late. I don't recall them having a chance to win a single game that year except this one.
Apologies to our listeners who may not care about this. I care because I'm fascinated by this. What was Hal like after that game?
Yeah. I think Hal was, frankly, Hal was that way after every game. So Hal was not a friendly post-game interview after a loss, but Hal...
Especially after 12 consecutive losses.
Yeah, there were a lot of those. So anyway, this game, though, we are looking at probably, I'm thinking, over 30,000 fans coming here. So I will say this. UNM has to work on some parking issues. That's kind of the only complaint that we've gotten. But fans have to understand there are going to be 30,000 people here. Get here a little earlier. Head to the gates before 10 minutes before kickoff. And there we go.
Yeah, the other big thing from going back to the breaking news that you had during the press conference today, Eck kind of went on a tangent of his own from one of the questions I asked about kind of educating themselves and educating the team about the rivalry. And he just kind of said, it's a shame we don't have a trophy for this rivalry. He sounded genuinely very annoyed that there was not a traveling trophy, for this. He said, there's no reason we shouldn't have one. We should have one next year. You got the mic, and out of nowhere, you're like, actually,
that's Geoff by God, that's Geoff Grammer's music.
And there is, in fact, a traveling trophy that's been put together by the Hellraisers and a UNM student section. And then does NMSU student section have a name?
The Panamaniacs is what it was back in the day. Yeah. I don't know if that's still their name. I apologize. An NMSU grad should know that, but the two student sections that got together last year and made a traveling trophy for the basketball rivalry and kind of trying to mend some relationships that in basketball in particular in the rivalry had kind of gone downhill in recent years. They made a trophy. It was a really good gesture. And here we are doing a football version now. And it is called at 5:00 today. The Hellraisers on their Instagram page will be announcing it. I don't know if there's a joint announcement that that NMSU is also doing, but I do know at 5:00 today on the Hellraisers Instagram account, they will be announcing the roaster. And it is a chili roaster themed traveling trophy that Jason Eck had when I told him about. His response was,
good.
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 And then he sounded pretty excited about it. And I showed him a picture. I have seen the picture. I don't want to share it here and steal their thunder, but I did show him a picture afterwards of a working concept that they were doing.
Absolutely awesome to capture that moment. If you have not seen the photo of Geoff showing Jason with Frank Mercogliano between them, showing him that photo, I highly recommend you go to my Twitter and look at it. I might get that thing framed. That is just a gem right there. In terms of other team updates from the press conference today, let's talk some ball. Scott J. Humphrey is probable for this game. Running back, obviously, really important player for this team. If you're listening to this, I don't think I really need to emphasize it at this point. Said he didn't practice entirely yesterday, but he will be a full go at practice today. So we will see that probably soon. And but he said he's probable for the game. I would be surprised if they weren't able to get a little bit out of him, just coming off the fact that he has the bye and all that. And I think one thing that I kind of mentioned throughout this game and kind of emphasizes that this is a game where we're gonna need kind of everything in terms of effort and all that as well. It's not like they're gonna have less effort than us. We're going to have to bring in that regard. So I would be surprised if they didn't have they didn't have Scott Trey for at least a little bit or a couple things in this game. Obviously, if you're a fan, you're hoping he's a full go. Keegan Johnson, wide receiver, who is out for the UCLA game with a head injury, he is a full go. He is back, so that definitely boosts the passing attack and kind of helps in some things there. I did ask as well, kind of get back to the rivalry element too. Tony Sanchez, I thought he kind of did a good job talking about this yesterday in his press conference. Tony Sanchez, the head coach for New Mexico State, he said that, like Tyler Martinez, who's a Volcano Vista grad, Albuquerque guy.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I like what he.
Yeah.
Well,
linebacker. He said, like, and Logan Fife know this too, is that like Martinez has really been the guy kind of educating a lot of the new guys, because these are two rosters that have had a lot of turnover from last year, a lot of new guys coming into this rivalry. And he said that Martinez has been a guy that's really kind of taken that on and, educated guys and all that. Martinez said yesterday that this is a personal game for him. UNM did not really look at him out of high school. He went down to New Mexico State. Oh, well, he went to JUCO and then he went to New Mexico State, I'm pretty sure. And he said it's a personal game for him and all that too. So he has that kind of rule for New Mexico State. I was curious who were the kind of veterans for New Mexico that would be kind of educating, a lot of the transfers and new guys and freshmen and all that about the rivalry. It's not local guys in particular for UNM. Eck said it's Tavian Combs. He's in his sixth year, so he's seen a lot of the rivalry.
He's been in New Mexico a lot longer than a lot of people around here.
Yes, and then senior Isaiah Soma, offensive lineman. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So I will be talking to them later just to kind of chat with them about that. I basically wrote a very similar story last year in terms of you have all these different guys from different coming in, transferring from different rivalries, and what's like stepping in this one. So we'll have a story about that later. But I thought it was interesting to a certain degree too that Eck has not seen the rivalry up close and personal at this point in the sense of a game and all that. Certainly he's heard like some chatter and all that as well. He did make a point to say, he's like, look, we never wanted to go over the line or anything like that.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I was setting him up for. It's like, look, you got two student sections you got your section filled up. These two student sections like going at it a little bit. Like you want that, but, and you say, yeah, we want that, but we don't want it to go over the line. And that is, he loves the fact that the student section is sitting behind the opposing bench again. That has been an issue in the past at both schools. In fact, it was something that, without digging up all the specifics, it was something that got really bad at a New Mexico State game one year that then later sort of people pointed to as the starting point of a much bigger issue that happened later on. But I digress. They are hopeful that the student sections go to the line but don't cross it, and we shall see, because this is a student section now being moved back behind the opposing bench. And I did ask him, look, you've done promoting of this program since you got here. You have you've sold it. You've done videos. You've got pats on the back. You've asked people to come to games. You've gone on campus, talked to student groups. You have student groups. His Greek fraternity and a sorority that show up every Tuesday night to his coach's radio show at a casino locally. And he's done his part. Now he's coaching, and it's the fans' part to see if they're responding. And I asked him about that. I said, do you feel you've done your part, and now it's on the fans? And he said, look, I'm going to keep asking them to come, but yeah, to a certain extent, now it's up to you, fans, to listeners, watchers. If you're the one that always complains about nobody goes to football games, maybe you're not a person that goes to football games, but it's kind of hard to continue complaining when now we got two teams that are playing well, and we got a coach who is hyping it up as best he can. And it's a 2:00 game. You can complain about it being a late game.
Weather's supposed to be pretty decent. I think 76 with 76 cloudy.
Look, if you don't want to go to the game, that's fine. But I don't want to hear Geoff and JJ on the morning show talking for another 3 days this week about how fans don't want to go. This is going to be 30,000 people going. So the whole first person to say like, who cares or nobody cares, like I got on basketball tweet I did earlier today, like it's football season. Who cares? I think he said I can give a rat's ass about basketball. I'm like, well, that's cool. I don't find somebody who tweeted about, hey, I had a good cupcake today and say, I don't give a rat's ass about cupcakes. There's a lot of people here in town who love this kind of took a turn.
What is going on? What is going on?
There's a lot of people who like taking shots at these two football teams and saying nobody cares because they're awful.
I don't give a rat's ass about a cupcake.
And cupcakes are good. Bring them. Have them at the tailgate on Saturday. They've done their part, and now we'll see if fans show up, because I do think it'll hit 30,000. I think it'll be a good thing for the state. I think it'll be a good thing for both programs, even though this one happens to be in Albuquerque. I think this is a good thing if both programs can get going.
To all of our listeners who may be children at home and the FCC and potential sponsors, apologies for our language there. We've been pretty good about that. Surprisingly good over the history of the show, actually, considering how we talk off air. Let's talk a little bit about NMSU to this point, right?
I'm going to skim through these real quick, and then you get to NMSU.
Yeah.
Will there be metal detectors? I know it's a joke, Adam, but yes, there will be. Adam also said it's a 2 p.m. game. That should help. I think it does help with anybody. Look, there are things going on Saturdays, but you can't help that. Saturdays are when college football is. So, got our boy Matthew.
Narvaez, what's up?
So good to see you guys.
What's up?
Sorry you're stuck in the office, having to work. Did we ask Coach?
No, we didn't. God damn.
If he put a Brian,
we did not, JT. I'll try and get that information at some point.
Traveling trophy called the Chili Bowl. Anyone? The Chili Bowl? Maybe. All right. Even Fuller saying, "Good to see everyone." Sean looks better. Sounding good, fellas. Well, I'm glad.
Timothy, good to see you too. Did you have a good weekend off? Well, you didn't. I don't know if it's a full weekend off for you. But,
talking to me?
Yeah, like bye weekend. Like, did you enjoy that?
My kids beat the crap out of me every weekend.
You were texting me a lot.
Actually,
you were texting me a lot.
Yeah, I was. All right, NMSU plus 13.5 seemed really good considering the rivalry. UNM should win, but 13.5 is huge.
I think was it 10 on the dot last year, or did it go up to 2 touchdowns?
I can't remember, but man, 2 touchdowns in this game is crazy. Now, it might end up happening, but like you can't tell me looking at these two teams that it is a 2 touchdown difference. You can't tell me that.
Yeah,
everyone's excited about UNM right now. I get it, but what? I'm not trying to rain on everyone's parade. What have they done? That a good loss, but it was a loss at Michigan.
Yes,
they had against the first-time true freshman starting quarterback. You can throw all that in. They had a less than sexy win against an FCS team.
Yeah, no, I mean it was
a train wreck of a UCLA team. Now they steamrolled. They did everything a really good team would have done against them too, but it was a train wreck. So. All the excitement here that is around this UNM program, good. They deserve it. But you can't tell me they look 2 touchdowns better in a rivalry game than New Mexico State, who also has a 2-1 record, and beat what appears to be a decent Tulsa team.
I got to look it up because we were talking about the spread a lot last year, especially in this show for the game last year. That was a 50-40 UNM win in Las Cruces and all that. That's the thing. Like, 13.5 does feel big in the sense that I think NMSU is better than they were last year. I think they still have some flaws for sure. I mean, they got to run the ball better, and there's some things defensively that they probably need to clean up. Although I do agree with Jason Eck. I do think you guys talked about this today. I do think that defense is actually pretty solid. It has things that didn't break their way in the La Tech game in particular. But I think they're honestly pretty solid and probably the strength of the team at this point. But they have a higher ceiling at quarterback play, and it changes a lot of things. I do think NMSU, in that regard, is better than they were last year. And I think UNM, in certain aspects, is – would you say this UNM team at this point is all that much better than last year's UNM team? It's kind of hard to compare.
Well, first of all, yeah, I mean, let's look at the time of – the point of reference. 3 games in, they started 0-4 last year, and that was a pretty darn good team last year, I think. Considering
we were pounding the drum, this is one of the best 0-4 teams in the country, man. They can hang with anybody.
Considering they started 0-4 and were playing for a bowl game in the last game of the season, that turned out to be a pretty darn good team. And
relatively speaking, right? Yeah.
Pretty darn good relative. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, they weren't starting 0-4 and saying, "Wow, they're going to go to the playoffs."
This is a CFP team if they just didn't have that 0-4 start. Okay. I don't know that this year's team has proven to be better than last year's. No.
I agree with you. So that's why this spread is surprising. To kind of touch on some of the things with NMSU, they are really struggling to run the ball effectively. They don't run the ball a ton, but they do have some guys like Kadarius Callaway that I think can be good with the ball in their hands, and they have just not. I think the issues. I was talking with Nick Coppola, does a great job covering NMSU for Las Cruces Sun News. I think a lot of the issues, and he kind of touched on this in terms of them running the ball, is just they just haven't been great run blocking up front at this point. Frankly, I mean they are 136 out of 136 FBS programs in rushing yards per game, 47.67. They really want to fix it. That's what Sanchez kind of noted. They do run a lot of screens, and I kind of talked a little bit about that today. And I do think Fife is a pretty good quarterback. I think he's had some of the turnover issues. Yep. I was looking at his PFF does two stats called big time throws, which are exactly what it sounds, just big time, good throws and all that, and they track those. And then turnover worthy throws. Fife has a high rate nationally. He's got a high big time throw rate. Like he does. I mean, he is not far off like the top guys who have I think are leading the country with 13 or 14 or whatever. He's got 9 or 10, but he also has a high rate of turnover worthy.
So I'm going to pose this question to you. If NMSU comes in here and shuts down the UNM run game, are we confident enough that UNM can pass to win this game?
That's a really good question. Because in the regard that Fife has the high rate of big time throws and turnover worthy throws, a guy like Jack Lane has
safe. He's been safe, which isn't an insult.
He has a very low amount of, not very low, but it's towards the bottom of qualified passers of big time throws. I think he has 4. How many turnover worthy throws do you think he has?
I don't know.
0.
So
no, it's
that's interesting to me because he's had a couple throws that look like, well, it's 3rd and long or whatever. So let's just do it kind of like a punt.
Arm punt.
Yeah, and wouldn't those be considered turnover? Those don't qualify as a likely turnover kind of throw?
I would have to look it up. I don't know if it actually gets converted into a turnover, that it is a turnover-worthy throw.
Interesting.
I don't know that much about
that
anyway, grading, but yes, you're right. There was one in the Michigan game, and then there was
he had one against UCLA. I think he had one down deep the middle.
No, he didn't have. Well, yeah, but
they didn't go.
But it wasn't an INT.
No, it was not an INT. Okay.
Anyways,
so I'll tell you what, his worst throw last week or 2 weeks ago against UCLA was on the second play of the game.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
When he missed the guy on 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, basically, and missed him by 4 feet above his head, and Buckley made as good a catch as any catch that whole game.
That was a big Buckley catch.
And he one-hands it, pulls it down, and then throws it 40 yards downfield. And was actually a decent throw. It was a good throw. Trick play did not work.
Yes,
is the end result.
Aggressive trick play, but no, I don't think this UNM team has proven themselves to be that much better than the team last year in certain regards. But it is tough to gauge because of what they got working at quarterback and all that. But I think honestly, even if NMSU was able to step up and take away the run, I think at this point, and this is more given the creativity and what we've kind of seen in the past games in terms of they can manufacture a passing game with a guy like Dorian Thomas, who is kind of a matchup nightmare for a lot of teams, particularly NMSU, and then with the backs too, Deshaun Buchanan leaking out of the backfield, coming off on a wheel route or anything like that, or Damon Bankston doing that. I still think they would be able to manufacture enough of a passing game to make that happen, but it would be really tough.
It's unproven though.
Yes,
I mean, at minimum, you can say that.
Yeah,
they have not yet proven that they could beat a team with Jack Lane's arm, and on the same, by the same token, though, NMSU's not proven that they can do it with the run game.
Yeah,
because they haven't run all year. So, look, you got two defenses that know that they're smarter about this than I am, and that's the second time today I've sort of said something like that. I admitted I was wrong earlier, and now I'm admitting that these highly paid defensive coordinators and expert football coaches on both teams probably know a little bit more about defense than I do. And look, if NMSU comes in and shuts down the UNM run game, I'm curious how this game goes. If UNM is able to keep NMSU from passing at all, which I think is a little more likely than the other. Then I think NMSU's passing game getting limited or held in check is a little more likely than NMSU being able to shut down the UNM run game. That said, shutting down a run game or at least limiting it, look, Michigan did it. They were really, really good. And UNM, I don't know. I mean, can we really, in hindsight, a month after the Michigan game, are we still saying that UNM had a or is there still a belief that UNM had a chance? Because I never thought they had a chance. I knew they were making it interesting, but I wouldn't say it was because of their passing game. They had a trick play, they had a couple good drives, but I wouldn't say it's because they were passing it all over the field by any stretch.
No, I think you're 100% right in the assessment. Yes, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. Okay. So,
anyways,
let's get to some of your questions here.
Yeah, let's get to it.
We did mention earlier that Jason Eck has not seen this game yet.
Yeah.
And you're right, Fern has not seen this game yet either. JT is saying we're also New Mexicans, so there's so much passion and hatred, and these are the only 2 FBS schools in the state, which is correct. I have family members that refuse to sit with each other and watch these games. There will be, Aggies versus Lobos in the same family. There have been Aggies and Lobos who have. Look, one of my friends, Brandon Mason, was an Aggie basketball player who was on the UNM Lobo coaching staff and is beloved here in town and is beloved down in Las Cruces. And there are people that have had, bled the cherry and bled the crimson as well. And there's some of that. Now, most of it, you pick a side. All right. Adam Garcia is talking about the 2 p.m. start time again. My 76-year-old dad loves the early start time. That is good. Matthew Narvaez is saying,
I am a big fan as well.
Got some big tech news coming at 3 p.m. at the Journal website. Everyone,
all right. No free ads.
It's the Journal, champ. 2 p.m. Come on, champ.
Where did champ come from? What is that? Okay, Unc. All right, man.
All right. 2 p.m. is better than 11 p.m. I would agree with that.
The 11 p.m. kick time, 9 p.m. here. That was absolutely brutal. That sucked, man.
Past your bedtime, but it is past the bedtime of most 12-year-olds.
Yeah, I did get that. Did allow me to see a good chunk of the beatdown on Cal. That San Diego State.
That was a shocker.
Snapdragon. That was.
Maybe we'll go over Mountain West in general.
We didn't have a post game, so we can kind of run through a couple scores around the league. I think that's
I don't think there was a bigger surprise to me than what San Diego State did to Cal.
No,
and it wasn't that I didn't think they could win. It was that I agree with. Look, we talked about this, so I'm agreeing with your sentiment here, and I'll steal it before you even say it. I don't know that I thought San Diego State was – I don't know that I thought they were a very good team. They sure looked like they were on Saturday. The one game, so don't take too much good from it or too much bad from it, but –
I do think there was an element, too.
It was surprising.
I don't think Cal took them all that seriously.
Yeah,
I don't think they did, so – yeah, we can run through that. And Jason Eck even talked about that in his press conference today, because if you watch the press conference and you're wondering why, I just asked him,
hey, what do you watch on TV?
I asked him, I was like, hey, you said you're going to watch games on Saturday.
Hey, you had a bye week. Do you
have any takeaways? And I'll give him credit. It wasn't a great question. He kind of gave a good answer in terms of making a coaching point out of it and talking about the San Diego State game. I really just wanted to hear if he was I just kind of wanted to hear oh, yeah. I thought Texas Tech looked good.
Watch some.
Yeah, TCU is pretty good.
Netflix and good shows.
You watch Varsity Blues.
Bias guy saying it's clear New Mexico has a better defense.
Absolutely, that is a great point, and it's very clear they do. Do they have a better offense than they did last year? I don't think it's even a question. I don't think they do.
Yeah, it's like the run game so much that they.
New Mexico also finished last year. We got to understand as the number 2 or 3 rushing team nationally. I think they were a pretty good rushing team.
UNM's offense is not as good as last year's. UNM's defense is better than last year's.
I think it's weird to say that, but I think that you like the backs more this year, but I think the rushing offense overall was better last year.
Yeah,
that's kind of my feeling.
Gilbert Chavez is pointing out NMSU always punches above their weight for this game. It's hard to predict the score. UNM wins by 7. I do think so along these lines. I mean, NMSU always punching above their weight. Sometimes NMSU, I know it's hard to believe, especially in this area code up here in Albuquerque. UNM, sometimes their fans sometimes just assume NMSU is awful because of history. NMSU has not always been awful in this game. They've had some good teams, and I do think that fans still come away from this game, if NMSU ever wins it, as shocked. Oh, we must be horrible. As, we must be just terrible if that New Mexico State team beat us. Sometimes NMSU's had some good teams. This might be one of them. I don't think they're great. I don't think this is a bowl team. But I think this is a 4 or 5 win New Mexico State team.
Oh, I still think there's even if they drop this game and they're 2-2, I still think there's a good chance they could get that for a bowl.
You think they'll be a bowl team?
I do think there's a good. I don't know if they're going to be a bowl team. They have to take care of business against teams that we think are worse than them at this point.
Yeah.
And maybe those teams aren't as bad as they might not be as bad as we thought. Kennesaw State is kind of one team I'm kind of looking in that regard.
Yeah. Well, and to Gilbert's point though,
and that's what good teams do. That's how you prove that.
And that's what good rivalry games do too, is that you punch above your weight. Even when you're bad, you kind of show up for the rivalry game, right? And that you're right there. UNM wins by 7 is Gilbert's prediction. I'm around that. Yeah, I do think UNM is going to win this game, but I guess save the predictions till the end. No, I do think UNM is going to win this game, but I find it hard to believe it's going to be by 2 touchdowns like the spread. I guess 13.5 is what Tim Timothy Fuller was saying it is now. I haven't looked recently, but this morning it was still at 14. All right. If they stop the run, it's over for UNM. It's certainly going to be hard for them to score points, but I don't know that NMSU can score a ton of points either. So I think I don't think it's over if New Mexico State shuts down the UNM run game.
That's the thing with NMSU. There are points in games where they look really freaking good passing the ball, look really good moving it. And there are points where it is 3 and out, and it does not look good. It just dries up like that. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, both teams are going to need to be consistent. And both teams have, both Eck and Sanchez have made the point to emphasizing physicality in a game like this. So.
Lane fumble against Michigan and
he fumbled against Michigan, but that was called back on the targeting, right?
But he fumbled both games. But you're right. I think you're right. He fumbled on that targeting one,
and then
No, he had another fumble.
When was the other fumble?
Did he not have a fumble in the third quarter of that game?
I will look it up. Hope another question.
JT's back with also what is the genuine percentage chance that capacity threatens 35,000?
Would you like to put a percentage on that, Geoff?
So capacity being 37,400. Are you saying like what the actual crowd is? Is that what we're looking for here? Or kind of a comment on what the actual attendance is going to be?
Wait, say that again.
Well, his post is also what is the genuine percentage chance that capacity threatens 35,000?
The genuine. Do you want me to put a percentage on? Or what do you?
Well, what does that mean? That capacity threatens 35,000?
No. That attendance threatens 35,000. That there will be 35,000 fans in the stands. Also, the only fumbles. No, Lane did not fumble against Michigan.
All right.
Michigan fumbled twice.
All right.
Yes.
I think there's a chance at 35, but I'm going for. I'm putting it between the 30 and 32 range now. Is where I'm at.
30 and 30. Oh, I thought you were saying 30 and 32%. I was like, why so precise? Like
32,000 is what I'm saying.
My model is showing.
Yeah, I'm saying 32,000 is my prediction, and Hey, look what we got here.
Yes, hi Mom.
Making schnitzel for dinner.
For those at home, for those listening, schnitzel is one of my favorite foods. I enjoy schnitzel a lot.
Nice.
That was the top 3 meal for me. Yeah, and I do enjoy my mom's schnitzel. So, yeah, I'm a big fan.
Describe a good schnitzel for me.
Good schnitzel, very thin, pounded out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like a little mushroom gravy with it too.
A little mushroom gravy. Yeah.
A little mushroom gravy.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Glass of white wine.
Yeah. White wine made from grapes.
Wow.
And yet
you
won't have a grape. Interesting.
Hi, Mom, again. Thanks for tuning in. Yes. Timothy, are you a Michigan guy? Because you're connecting on a lot of these. I do love Meijer. Meijer is it's not Major. It is Meijer. It is a grocery store chain in Michigan, and it is a big part of the Michigan identity. So I just mentioned Michigan a lot. So feel free to pull out the bottle and start
3
drinking.
drinks of that white wine made of grapes. What up, dog? Sean, do you know how much Fife has been sacked?
Not that much. And I kind of talked about that today at this point. He said it's kind of impressive, for as much as they throw it, he really does not get sacked a ton. I can pull that number up for you shortly. But no, that is kind of an interesting thing for how much that offensive line has struggled in the run game. They don't do a bad job protecting really by any kind of stretch. New Mexico State and New Mexico have both allowed 5 sacks in the season, and New Mexico State throws far more than New Mexico. Do you want to guess the last team in the country that has not given up a sack at this point in the season?
Tell me it's not Utah State.
It is not.
Okay.
Utah State has allowed
last year Broncos UNM team.
Utah State is very much near the bottom. Hawaii and Missouri State are the tied for the bottom in terms of sacks allowed with 18. Utah State has allowed 16. So kind of weird in that regard that they have struggled there.
Is it Utah though? Since Dampier and Beck.
No, it's not actually.
All right, so who's it?
It's another Big 12 team.
Who's not allowed to
take one more crack at it. Another Big 12 team. But it's a Big 12 team that isn't historically a Big 12 team.
Okay, so it's got to be UCLA.
No.
Well, no, it's got to be USC.
USC? Big 12.
Big 12. Big 12. I'm sorry.
Grammar.
I'm sorry. Is it Texas Tech?
No, Texas Tech is historically a Big 12 team.
What did you say? Big 12? That's not his. Oh, but that's not Jesus.
Oh my God. Do you want one more crack at it? Are you giving up?
I'm giving up, but I'll say Arizona.
Cincinnati.
Okay, I was going to say Arizona.
0. 0. Yeah.
Let's just dance around the conferences and
Christ, man. I should say Jesus Christ.
Along those lines, how about we jump to this real quick? Travis is saying NMSU to the Mountain West would be a good move for both schools. You mean like a traditional Mountain West team like Texas Tech? Let me just keep up with my screw ups on conference affiliation.
Famous Mountain West team, Texas Tech.
So Travis is also saying take the over in this game. You're saying, right?
I might like the under.
54.5 per ESPN.
I might like the under.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of shootouts in these games, though.
I might
50 to 40 last year, right?
I might like the under, man.
Yeah, I do think one of these two defenses probably is going to do what we had said earlier. Like, is key is either UNM, I think, limits NMSU's passing game, or NMSU limits UNM's run game. And if either one of those happen, it's going to be hard to get to 55 points. I've seen enough shootouts that I'll probably still stick with an over in this game, but I probably wouldn't bet it, is what I'm telling you too. One more from the Reider family about Michigan State Tarts.
I mean, that was ridiculous.
I promise you, Sean did not stay up for it. He recorded it and watched it first thing in the morning, and yeah, he was in bed.
No, I mean 11 p.m. man, and like that's a dedicated fan base too, man. I mean, like I have buddies in the Eastern Time Zone watching that and texting and all that too. And the thing was that you had this scary situation with that linebacker that went down, and that just made the game even longer as well. Yeah,
because that's the takeaway from that.
Yeah, no. Gotta wrap this up. I've heard that guy, Wayne, I'm blanking on the last name, that linebacker is doing okay. So I'm very happy that he's doing okay. But yes, that was that just kind of added to it. And man, did you see that 3rd and long that MSU gave up?
I didn't watch much of the game.
Oh my gosh, you were No, you weren't texting me.
That was during that game.
Yeah, you were texting me about other stuff.
North Texas.
Can we take a second? Can we take a second to talk about the Mean Green? What a gutsy win. Gutsy win going in Army, pulling that one out in overtime. Look, it wasn't pretty all the way. Army came back on him, but what a gutsy win, man. We are going to be riding the Mean Green until the wheels fall off. The ticket is in.
How about I love the Mean Green over here, Mr. Mean Green.
Wow.
Something special.
I love the American.
Specials happening in Denton.
Something specials brewing in Denton, Texas.
Something specials brewing in Denton, Texas.
Going
Sean
on in Denton.
Won't rank the Mean Green. Rank them, you coward.
Yeah, I have an email exchange right now with a University of Texas fan about why I have Texas solo going right now. But if you disagree with my poll, you should hop in and engage.
They're very anti-Texas in general.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that.
They have a great defense.
Gilbert's comment is student tickets are sold out. I heard today that is correct. They have sold out. How many student tickets were available?
Do you know this off the top of your head?
Yes and no. I know the answer, but I didn't know that until I asked it last night. I was talking to somebody last night, and I believe the number is 5,200. So 5,000 student tickets have been picked up. And some people, you may have different opinions about what that number means. That's a good percentage of UNM student population, student enrollment.
It is, yeah.
And 5,000 students is big for a game like this. And look, the fans so far seem to be doing their part.
That is apparently the biggest in at least 16 years, too.
Yeah, that is the first time.
We have not confirmed that, but that's what we were told.
Yeah, anecdotally, that is what Frank Mercogliano said, because he said, in my 16 years here, we've never sold out the student section, is what he said. This game always goes off the rails.
I'm inclined to agree.
Geoff went from 28 to 32. That is correct. I admit it. Who knows? Ask me again tomorrow. I might have a different number for you. But yes, that is correct. I was saying, I think it'll be around 28, and now I'm saying it's about 32. Jay's husband makes a fantastic schnitzel. If you were looking for a taste of home, Sean,
I might have to do that.
The editor and I don't know what the full title is, editor and vice president and publisher, not publisher, but of the Albuquerque Journal, the top boss of the newsroom.
I just walk in and say, "Hey, can I get
some schnitzel? Where's my schnitzel?"
That's such a good way to enhance your career. Like that's a great move.
Wow. Tenacious D had a little bit about a schnitzel back in the day. All right. Let's go down this path. Have you found a good schnitzel?
I've heard good things about what is it? It's like Red Rock. It's the place. Oh my gosh, it's like off
Jefferson.
Yeah, the deli or whatever. I haven't
There's a Red Rock. There's a Red Rock something on Jefferson because it's right by Just Sprinklers, which just yesterday I drove by and I was like, you know what, I got to stop and take a picture of Just Sprinklers who sells pinto beans.
Not that. It's I think it is.
There's a Red Rock Brewing.
No, it's not a brewery. It's like they have a lot of Eastern European foods, and like I got pierogies there one time that were really good, and I did see they have schnitzel on the menu, so I should go back there.
Well, Travis, to answer your question about has he found a good schnitzel, it sounds like maybe not. And you're right, not many German restaurants here.
Not a ton. If anybody knows, I would be more than inclined to take them up on that.
Have you there? Well, I mean, there's a over on Academy or San Mateo. There's a little place just like one block in. They have some pretty good stuff. It's a
welcome back to ABQJournal Sports Live, where we're talking about German foods.
Yeah, it's
German cuisine.
I'm going to try and pronounce this correctly. It's a Der Wiener Schnitzel.
Wiener Schnitzel. Der Wiener Schnitzel.
Der Wiener Schnitzel.
Wiener.
Der Wiener Schnitzel. All right, Wiener Schnitzel.
Have you eaten
the Wiener Schnitzel?
I have eaten the Wiener Schnitzel.
Yes. Pretty good?
Sehr gut.
Thank you. I don't know what that means.
Danke.
Yeah. No thanks. If the Lobos go 3-1, only losing to Boise State, do you think the attendance for the USU game will exceed the attendance for this game? No.
I don't because you're getting the look. The rivalry aspect's huge, and like it's important they keep winning because then there's going to be pretty good attendance over 20, maybe approaching 25K for that Utah State game.
Yeah.
But you're bringing in more New Mexico State fans and all that. That's just a different deal. Utah State, I don't think is going to travel, bring in swaths of people in the way that NMSU might.
Yeah, look, if you get 30, let's just say 30,000. If you get 30,000 for this game on Saturday, 8,000 of them, I would say, are going to be New Mexico State affiliated fans.
Yeah. No,
22 and 8. That's probably a split that I would go with.
Yes. Now, look, I do think that's going to be really interesting because no, Nevada's homecoming, not Utah State. Does Utah State have like a theme connected to it that day?
Beat Bronco. I mean,
well, you're wrong. Yeah, obviously.
Tiki Taki Taco's asking Geoff, are you good today?
He's not.
Oh no, man. I'm having some issues. I'm going through some things right now, man. I'm going through it. I'm forgetting about conference. Whatever. I'm going through it today.
And then UCLA went to the
traditional Big 12 team. Yeah, Sacramento State. All right. I'm at work. Any details on the recruiting front?
I asked it to Tacoma. So one thing on that, this is not quite like in-depth details, but that was something that I could talk about today. He's like, this game is very important in the regard to, he mentioned, because Tyler Martinez yesterday talked about the fact that, UNM didn't really recruit him. That's something that makes this game pretty personal to him in a lot of regards and all that. And X said, look, I wasn't around for when that guy was here and all that. But when you hear that, you're like, we want to win this game so we can win guys over. I don't like the idea of like a guy that, played in our backyard and grew up in our backyard, going to Volcano Vista and all that, going down there and being a really good player for us. Like, we want to win this game so we can swing recruits and all that too. I will do a little asking around on what, if any, and I think there's going to be a recruiting presence in terms of recruits being at this game this weekend, and just how big that might look, and if there are a couple notable names to look out for.
All right, let me go share this real quick here. So this is what New Mexico is, if I could get this up. This is what Mexico's going for here. Hold on one second. Got some replies to that as well, but I'm not trying to go for the replies. I'm just trying to go for the image. But anyway, there you go. They're looking for 27,000. That's the 2023 game number. So they're over 20,000. 27 is what it was 2 years ago here in Albuquerque. The 2017 game was the loudest crowd from 2007, and that was at 32-4. So the 4 is the interesting 400 number here. They're kind of breaking it off in chunks. It will, I think, by tomorrow, end of business day tomorrow, probably be in that 27 range already.
Mm-hmm.
If going into a 2 p.m. Saturday game, you're within, like, if you hit 30,000 by Friday, I do think that this might be at 35 on Saturday.
That's a good point.
But the day of is probably going to be 4,000 or 5,000 maybe. So whatever you have at close of business on Friday, add 4 or 5 to that number is what the attendance probably will end up being. And I think they're on pace by, if this is Tuesday, and they're probably, if I'm thinking, 22. I think this could get 32, 33. I'm sticking with 32. I'm not changing my number again, but 32,000 is going to be my prediction now. Okay. Lock it in.
Okay.
My Tuesday prediction, it's locked in.
I still encourage whether it's 37,000 and it's 30,000, 35,000. I encourage all the fans to, at some point, during like a TV timeout, turn around and face the press box and give Geoff Grammer a big old thumbs down, the kind of Kinnick wave. Just really let him know, because he said last week you guys weren't going to come out. He said he couldn't do it.
What was your prediction last week, Sean?
I was trying to make a bet for you going over. And you wouldn't take it.
Because I knew it'd be at 32. I knew.
No. Moving the goalposts.
Yes, there are some goalposts moving. It's fair. It's fair. Tommy Tom, love the show, guys. Geoff, do you know when the TV schedule for Mountain West basketball will be finalized and released? I don't. I am not under the impression it's going to be this week, but I would be surprised if it's not in the next couple weeks, because they have already put out feelers for like who's going to do the preseason polls. The preseason Mountain West media poll is out in about a month, and we're starting to get to basketball season, like officially, not just to upset people on Twitter like I did earlier today when I happened to mention that basketball practices started, and then I started talking about cupcakes and how I don't go on people's social media accounts.
Way to dig up all the old crap. Way to dig it up.
Oh, that might have been the best tweet I've
one of the all-timers. All-timer, man.
Some inside baseball we're talking here. And it's on my social media, actually. You can see it all.
JT, yeah. I would rather have UNM lose every non-NMSU game for the rest of my life than lose to NMSU. It's funny you say that, because Eck was talking about the Montana State rivalry.
Exact comment.
The exact same thing. He said, I was talking to a booster, and he said that, a Montana State booster when he was coaching there, and he said, I would rather you guys go 1-10 and beat Montana then go 10-1 and lose to Montana State. And Eck said he kind of like laughed and was like, "Yeah, okay." And then he got into it, and he's like, "Oh yeah." Like,
this is the truth.
Do you think? I am curious, because this is something I feel like I see so commonly in rivalry games, in particular. Like I'm thinking about like Michigan State last year, like with Jonathan Smith and all that, where he was kind of coming in and hadn't been around the rivalry before, and then after the game, he really seemed to kind of get it to a certain point. Do you think there will be kind of a tone of that with Jason Eck after the game? Whether they win or they lose or anything like that, where it's like, okay, because I do think you have to go through one game and just kind of feel it that way.
So I think you feel the rivalry more when you lose it, frankly.
Yeah.
If he comes in and wins it, if he comes in and wins it, he's going to be like, it wasn't really that big a deal. Of course we beat him.
Yeah.
Like, we're better than them. We just beat them.
The Lobos didn't beat the Lobos.
But he's still very much a Lobos can't beat the Lobos. If New Mexico State happens to come in here and wins, I'll bet Jason Eck has a different tune in this press conference next year. And it's like, we got to go down there and beat them.
Yeah.
And, but that said, Jason Eck's a football guy. He's an offensive line guy. He gets rivalries. He gets it probably more than most. Even
there's no way a defensive backs coach could ever understand a rivalry. No, it's got to be the trench guys, the O-line guys, man. A guy real salt of the earth guys.
He likes a good schnitzel.
I bet he does. I bet he does. He might have had some schnitzel in Wisconsin at some point. I bet he does, man. There's no way a wide receivers coach can ever get the rivalry.
Some wide receivers coach,
no way. Even though the head coach of the other rival team is the guy that was formerly a wide receivers coach. There's no way.
Pre-game sushi, like, you're not doing that when you're an O-lineman. I'll tell you that.
I do feel like Tony Sanchez said yesterday. He's like, Jason Eck is a former, and Eka, by the way, did kind of talk about that.
They know each other a little bit.
Yeah, they've known each other from the past when Tony was the head coach at California High School in San Ramon, California, and Jason was position coach at Idaho, as we kind of touched on earlier in terms of the NMSU game then and all that too. They've known each other, and both of them very complimentary towards each other. And Tony mentioned yesterday, he's like, X an O-line guy. He wants to run the ball. You see it, they run the ball. I feel like a lot of people, and sometimes me included, just kind of pop that in, like, yeah, he's an old O-line coach, just to justify, like, I just did it. Yeah, you just did that.
Likes a good schnitzel.
Yeah,
the safety can't like a schnitzel.
Yeah, he cares about ball. He cares about ball control. He's an old O-line guy,
Yeah. Trying to tell me a wide receiver, a slot receiver can't like a good schnitzel every now and then?
He's an old line guy. Like, just ridiculous.
All right, Big DJ, to remind or to reiterate what we said earlier in the show, you might not have been here yet, but Big DJ 505 saying 30K would be huge. Wino hardware for the in-state rival.
30K would be big.
A, 30K will be big, and I think it will happen. And B, there apparently is some hardware coming today, announced today. So
check the Howl Rangers Instagram at 5:05 p.m. Mountain Time.
that is what I'm told. Okay, let's jump to some of these at the bottom. Are we still predicting just under 30 for the game? Nope.
No.
We've mentioned that. I know you're just joining us, Jeffrey Holland.
Grammer pulled out a big plate of crow, pounded out like schnitzel, and just started eating it.
I think it'll be around 32,000. I have backed off my my under 30, and I'm going not only over 30, but I'm saying it's going to hit 32 ish.
That ish might be doing a little bit left.
Here's my bold prediction: it will be 32,000 ish,
give or take.
All right, the bigger comment was, are we still predicting under 30,000? I was surprised they just barely passed 20,000 mark over the weekend. I'm holding up for 31,207. I don't know why that's your number. There's probably a story to that, but to that, some context. At this point, the Tuesday of the last New Mexico State game here in Albuquerque, 2023, they are trending well above what they were at on the Tuesday of that last game. I will remind people that last game was a Diego Pavia quarterback to New Mexico State team, and a lot of build-up, if you will, because Danny Gonzalez was saying, we want to beat that Aggie team. We do not like them. And Diego Pavia was saying, we do not like that UNM team because they didn't recruit me. There's a little more to all that still really, frankly, hasn't been probably entirely addressed, but I will just keep it at this. There was some build-up to that New Mexico State game here in Albuquerque 2 years ago. More came out after the thing, but that game got 27,000. So why would this game get more? It just seems to be because the trending pace as of Tuesday is they are well above that pace from 2 years ago.
Yeah, and there was some that NMSU team was also coming off a bowl appearance. They were expecting to be pretty good.
So they did bring a lot of New Mexico State fans.
There was an expectation there, and they ended up being great. They won 10 games. They were phenomenal. And they won that game 27-17. There was also an expectation among New Mexico, fans and all that I don't think they're, not winning 10 games, but it was, like, hey, like, we think we could make a bowl, given some of the things that they had. Obviously, after losing New Mexico State, Danny made the guarantee that they would make a bowl. They did not make a bowl, and here we are today.
All right, I got back-to-back JT comments. First, JT, I will stop watching this podcast if you don't ask the Brian Urlacher on punt return question. I think that's fair. Or at least put like a little screen up where you can block just Sean's camera. Or you know what? I have the power. You could just do this if you want. You could just do this if you want.
Man. That kind of hurt my feelings.
Yeah, well, that's all I got. Well, champ.
I don't like champ is like making me angry. Like, I'm not a big fan of champ.
Bucky?
Bud.
I don't know.
Hey, Bud. Well, he's an old line guy.
JT, how many walk-up tickets as well? And will the NMSU band be up in the corner again?
I think you are doing something on that.
More breaking news from Geoff. I have reached out to the NMSU band. They will be attending this game, and they will not be charged. Their location will likely be up in the corner, but they will be here. I don't know where they're sitting. I'll be honest. I don't know for sure where they're sitting, but I'll bet you it'll be up in the corner. But I will say that UNM is not charging the band to come to this game.
That was one of the wildest rivalry stories I have ever been a part of, ever written. The 2023 band debacle.
Sometimes that is what this rivalry has kind of boiled down to. It's really what side story?
Very petty stuff.
Yeah.
Like, just
what side story?
Very petty things. So I don't know.
Sean, how's the kick and punt return team looking in practice? This is from early in the show, and we are about to wrap up, by the way. So if you have any questions, get them in now. I just remember that. Let's get going here. I do remember that I'm supposed to pick up a daughter and take her somewhere here at 3. Cross town. So
I got to look at punt return a little more closely today, frankly, because that was something that they wanted to address in terms of the bye week and all that as well.
Catching the ball.
we'll get a little bit more competition in punt return, because Austin Brawley was your starting punt returner. Obviously, he goes down, and then next thing you know, you have the deal with Buckley, and I think Buckley's a guy that could be a good punt
By the
returner.
way, Buckley should. I think look, you know better than I. Buckley's fine. Like, he had a bad game.
Yeah.
In punt return, but no. I think he's fine for that job.
I think Buckley is probably going to be fine for that job. I will do a little bit more watching, and I'll find a way to shoehorn it into a story this week as well.
Don't extend yourself too much. Like, I mean, let's not push it.
It's a long week. Kick return is normal. I mean, it's Abe Williams and then Damon Bankston. Unless one of those guys gets hurt, I don't really see them mixing them up all that much.
When you do your punt return story, maybe you could work in a question on Urlacher. Returning punts.
That should have been a bye week question. Man.
Anyway.
So I know it's a little off topic, but if you have Brown Urlacher on your team.
Are we going for the I-25 trophy to the winner? 31,207 just seemed like a good number. Also, what did Geoff's daughter's coin flip say? You know what? I'll do that.
Can I? Do you call it the Rio Grande Rivalry? Do you call it the Battle of I-25? What do you call
it? So I've gone back and forth myself through the years, and I've been at both places, right? Covering it from I guess both perspectives, if you will.
Yep.
If you can say I'm covering it from a UNM perspective now, I don't know.
Well, you're talking to more UNM people in advance, and talking to more MSU people in advance.
Rio Grande Rivalry is what I stick with now.
Yeah.
I stick with the Battle of I-10 for the UTEP NMSU game. The Battle of I-25 I've used an awful lot through the years, but if I'm really making a decision and not just kind of casually typing something out, I'm calling it the Rio Grande Rivalry now. Okay. I'm trying to stick with Rio Grande Rivalry, but frankly, I don't know, man. Whatever. So I'm going to get my daughter to make a pick this week. Maybe I'll get both daughters. I'll get the high school daughter who could care less about sports. I should say that. She's a volleyball player. She likes sports, but she doesn't know much about football. And I will get my now kindergarten daughter, who absolutely wants to be on the podcast anyway. Maybe I'll get video of her making a pick, and I will tell her it's going on. What she still tells her friends her dad does is the Talking Grandma podcast.
Talking with the grandma.
Yeah, Talking with the Grandma podcast. So there we go. All right. Look, the more childish and petty the backstory, the bigger the hype and the better the win.
And look, that's a good point. That is what makes so many college rivalries so stinking good, is just how ridiculously petty they can be.
You want to know, just in the past few years here, you had one school charging the other school's band to come to the game. You had the other school's starting quarterback get caught on video peeing in that school's indoor practice facility. Those are two pretty petty things.
You had a massive blow up from the coach of one team after a bowl win that was played at the other rivalry team stadium in the press conference after, in regards to use of said facility.
I will say that blow up and the band, those might have been the number 2 and 3 stories, but the number 1 story was the pee.
No. See, I hate how I'm just walking into it every time.
You don't think the number 1 story was the urination story getting leaked?
The more childish and petty the reporter.
The Aggie covering the Lobos. It's exactly what you're saying, Jeffrey Holland. This might be obvious, but the bigger the game is in Albuquerque, a lot of NMSU alum live in Albuquerque. That's true. There's a ton. Well, I don't know how to quantify that. There's a lot of NMSU graduates in Bernalillo County. I believe I'm making stuff up now, maybe, but there might be more New Mexico State graduates in Bernalillo County than anywhere else in the country.
That's what
Doñana County, maybe.
Yeah, that's.
I gotta think there's more in Doñana County, though.
That's fair.
I mean, the population here is so much more that maybe it is here, but anyway, there's a lot here. Is the answer?
Jason, I will disagree. I do. I like my little trips down Las Cruces. I enjoy heading down. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll wrap this up with this. Sean,
what's up, man?
I need your prediction on attendance. We're going to set the over/under at. What if I just up it up to 31,000? Over under 31,000.
Okay, are you going over? Or are you going
under? I'm going over because remember I've been telling people for weeks it's going to be 32,000.
I'm not going to go under. I'm not going under on that. You're going to have to go higher for me to go under.
All right, how about this? Just who's closer, and not over or under.
Okay.
Like you can go over; it doesn't matter. Who's closer? And my prediction, I will give the first guess: 32,417. 32,417. No. 32,505.
I will go
32,505. because I do think New Mexico wins this game. Otherwise, I'd go 32-5, 7-5.
I will go
Area code Sean, just in case you didn't know.
32-856.
You're going 32-856. I'm going 32-505.
I can't wait for us to hop on the post game and not remember these numbers and try and figure it out.
Hour and 5 minutes. Okay, I can remember how long into the show this was.
Yeah, the timestamp? Okay.
All right, guys. And a prediction for the outcome of the game. I don't know if Sean wants to give one. He can if he wants, but I'm going to give you a prediction that UNM does win but doesn't cover 14. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I hate to go with Sean on this one. I've talked myself into, with the voices in my head, going with the under, because I do think this will end up being a little bit less of a shootout than this game traditionally is. I think this will be a low-scoring game. I will give you a score prediction of 34-ish. I'll go 34. Kirby Puckett was my favorite baseball player, which has nothing to do with anything. Minnesota Twin.
I thought you were going to go Kirby Puckett. Nothing to do with anything off the field.
34 UNM. 28. So we'll say a 6-point UNM win. 34 UNM, 28 New Mexico State.
Hit the over.
32-5. Oh, does that hit the over?
Yeah, it's the over. 34-20. 34-20. Definitely hits the over.
Yeah, I just said I'm not going to hit the over. So strike that, reverse it. Let's go 24 to 8. No, that doesn't make 18. I want 18. 24-17.
I don't have a score prediction. I do think UNM wins. I don't have a score prediction, but I think UNM wins. I think there are just areas that they're just a lot further along in certain regards in terms of running the ball and playing good defense, just being more consistent on offense. One thing I have been thinking about as well too is that UNM is towards the bottom of the country in terms of sacks. They only have 2-3 games, but they've done a really good job generating pressure. I think this is kind of an interesting game in regards to that. NMSU does a pretty good job protecting Fife. I think if they're able to get home and get sacks and kind of start, racking up a couple, maybe a few, 3, 4, anything beyond that, that's pretty good. I think that should probably alleviate any concerns about, they're not really playing a super – Fife can scramble. They're not playing like a super mobile guy or anything like that, like Imaleva. But if they don't kind of convert some pressures into sacks, then I'll be interested. But NMSU also gets the ball up pretty quickly too. I think that's going to be – I think NMSU certainly noticed what Idaho State did against UNM, and I would not be shocked if they put in a similar plan.
35-17, Jeffrey Holland. Susie Reider is in at 37-12. I am adjusting this. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals for New Mexico State. We'll give them 20 points. 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals for UNM. We'll give them 27. So 27-20. That'll be a 47 over/under.
Under the 50.5.
That'll be an under, and it'll be a New Mexico State cover, but a UNM win. Thank you for joining us. We will be on again 1 hour after Saturday's game.
Mom, I will call you tonight or tomorrow. I've been meaning to call. Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Enjoy the schnitzel.
And producing our show for us. Go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green and enjoy the schnitzel.
Enjoy the schnitzel. Put it on a shirt. Thanks again, everybody.
Enjoy the schnitzel.